Hello, hello. My name is Byron Gonzalez. I am the program director here at the Latin Alt HD3. We're a Southern California public radio station supporting Latin artists as well as Spanish speaking artists from all over the world. But today we're heading to El Paso to talk to a band called Soul Parade, who just recently released a new album called The Garden. Now, personally, I've kind of been waiting for this album for quite a while just because I think we have a mutual friend. His name, Manu Cardelon, and he sent me a few tracks of yours. It was Violet Sunrise and 2 a.m. Sunflower, uh, back when you guys were still working on it with him. And I like absolutely fell in love with those songs.
That's really cool. I didn't know he did that. I'm like kind of happy to hear that. Yeah, he put in a lot of work to those songs to make the songs what they were in the end product. Because the start product was I liked it a lot, but he completely did a work on those songs. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the visionary, huh? He's cool. Yeah, he his band, Stereo Mans, came to the studio and we were talking. We meshed really well, and I he was telling me that he does a lot of producing for other bands. I'm like, well, show them to me. I want to listen to these bands. He showed me you guys. He showed me Flamel, and I think there's one more band that I'm forgetting the name of, but you guys stood out. I do want to know a little bit more about the band. I know you guys started in 2013. It's almost a decade since a band, although when it first started, it's not what it is now. Can you tell me a little bit about the evolution of it and how where Lexi came through and your other members came through? Because I know it was just a trio, but now you're like a five piece.
Yeah. Soul Parade started in 2013, which was formed from a band that broke up, which called Electric Social and the Twin Keys. And then before that, it's like a trilogy, and this is the longest story. This is the third versus longest. A Lucky Tragedy was the first band that Josh and I were in, the guitar player. Then something happened, that band ended. Other bands happened, those bands ended. Then Soul Parade came to be. And then we usually started with Strokes, indie, Arctic Monkeys vibe. So it was my brother, Josh, and another guitarist. And initially we were like, a traditional rock band, two guitars, bass, and drums. Then we were thinking that the synthesizers were very cool, up and coming at that time. So we just said, let's do that. And then we got a new member, Natalie, then a girl called Talia, then Jonah, then Nancy and Lexi were like the latest additions, and I think this felt perfect. This lineup of five piece with Lexi on synthesizers, me on drums, and just really powerful vocals. Just to me, were like, you know what, this is what we were looking for. We want to stay a five piece as long as we can.
Oh, and Lexi, how did you hear about them? How did you end up getting recruited? And how did you decide that this was a project for you and your synthesizers?
So it's funny because I didn't know anything about Soul Parade, but my sister and my cousin, they had heard them at a bar before, and so they told me that they were going to be playing, and they were like, you better come because you're going to love the singer. And I went that night, and and I remember while we were listening to the music, like I was just naturally coming up with harmonies and singing along. I didn't even know any of the songs, but after they played, I went up to them and was just like, hey, you guys were awesome, right? And that's when I started chatting with them, and they were like, we're actually looking for somebody who plays the keys. And I was just, it went through my head, but my cousin was the one that was like, she plays the keys. I was like, oh well, yeah, I do. If you guys are interested, I'd be willing to stop by. And so that's how we made the connection. And then after that, we just started practicing. And this was actually 2 years ago that I met the band, but but it was right before COVID hit. So we just practiced for a little bit, and then for that whole year, we didn't play or anything, but it gave me time to get on board. And then we didn't start playing until 2021, so last year. Yeah. And that's when I officially became a member of the group, and I've loved it. My experience with music was more in choir music, more singing and that kind of stuff, but now being in this band playing indie pop rock, it's a whole different experience. but I love it. I love it. And I think the whole group, us five, like Eduardo said, we're a good, we work pretty well as a team. And so that's very important.
Yeah, it really is. And it makes it sound, when you do work better as a team, when there's chemistry, you can hear it come through the music. It sounds good. And I mean, the band stays together for a long time. You're able to complete an entire album. So
Mhm.
congratulations on all you guys for finding the right people and for finding that sound. And kind of like indie pop just kind of lends itself to whole lot of fun, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It does.
A ton of fun.
That's super cool. I do want to take. I know you recorded a couple songs for us. Let's take the first pause of the interview, and then we're gonna come back and talk about the album and its totality. So right now, I want to take a pause to get into the first song, one of the first songs that you recorded for us. Let's get into "Summer in Seoul." Song that was "Summer in Seoul." Can you talk a little bit about the song? Who wrote it? Who came up with the concept? And have you ever really been to Seoul?
Oh man, my soul. And no pun intended there. So what ended up happening is that back before the pandemic, Josh, Nancy, and my brother took a trip to South Korea, and they went to Seoul. And I guess Josh wrote the song because he was just inspired by the culture. He really liked South Korea a lot. And then recently, I've been getting them into K-pop. I got into K-pop recently. Then I'm just telling them, hey guys, you listen to this group. Listen to this group. That's really how it came to be. And yeah, that song, again, it's one of my favorites. And it was perfect. Lexi doesn't know this, but she completed the song. A lot of the harmonies that
Really?
her harmonies, like we wrote the song with the keys and everything, and I was like, yeah, this is a good song. But then when Lexi came in with the harmonies of summer and then her I guess call and answer in that song was just, man, that was missing, and she got it. I was like cried. Oh, Lexi also sings really good. She does keyboard,
Oh
but phenomenal backup vocalist. From vocalist when she needs to be like getting the job done. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you,
cool.
homie. But yeah, I wanna add to that. What I loved about just the way Summer and Soul all came together, including those harmonies, I think is that it makes it sound a little bit more dreamy. And I didn't go to Seoul, but whenever we play the song, I feel like I was part of that experience, you know.
I
But
mean, I
also
think
one of
the
my favorite
lyrics,
songs.
yeah, the lyrics really lend to that. It makes you, it's very, the lyrics are super specific, and I like that. It
Mm-hmm.
makes it does for like a great travel song. Like if you're trying to pitch people, you need to go to Korea, Seoul, that song, you play that song for people, and you're like, you get people excited to want to go to travel.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about the album now. I was saying that Manu sent me a few songs, like that was in 2019. Uh, so was those two songs, did you know that those two songs were going to be part of this album? Was the album even realized at that point? Because I know in your bio you said that you started the album in 2021, but hearing those songs and hearing what it is now, like it started way before then, right?
That's right. Yeah. So the idea of an album didn't come till the pandemic. And we just didn't want to be idle. We weren't gonna be doing shows. So then Josh just kind of mentioned, hey guys, we're gonna be stuck here for a while. We don't know how long. Might as well just we had a couple of songs like Ballet, 2 a.m. and Blossom. And when we had those two, we just said, hey, you know what? What's 7 more songs? But those came naturally. Honestly, they all just kind of, the creation of those just flowed. I feel it was effortless writing music for those. Yeah.
Nice. So when you guys write music, who's like the main songwriters in the band? Is it a collective? Is it you and the original members, or?
I usually just let Josh start the idea, or he starts the idea, then everybody builds on top of it, or we just have a jam session of a riff, and then we just build around that. Lexi, we were writing the other day. Lexi came up with like a little like she knows what she did. I'm not gonna sing it. I don't think I can, but yeah, and then we just make a song around that with chords, beat and everything. Yeah.
Nice, nice. And the garden. I want to talk a little bit about the title, and I always like talking about the titles because sometimes there's a story behind it. What was the story behind this title? Like, I know there's songs about flowers and your music, but really solidified the name.
Lexi, what does it mean to you? I want to hear you talk.
All right, yeah, no problem. So, like you said, the name for the album is The Garden, and several of our songs are their titles are references to flowers. So, like example, 2 a.m. sunflower, violet sunrise, queen of the night is a type of flower, and so that's what kind of led us to think of something related to flowers as a title. But what really solidified that decision was the fact that most of our songs in the album are supposed to be about growth in your life, right? In your 20s or so on. And So the whole symbolism between that personal life growth with flowers in a garden is what made us say, you know what, maybe the garden is the right name for it.
Nice, nice. Now, in an alternative universe, would this album have a different name? Were you guys workshopping other things?
We were, but I think we were kind of like. Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Not yet. I need to. I want to
Oh
see it.
man. Okay. Yeah. So I guess if we say timeline wise, in a lot of timelines, it's going to be the garden, and then in a couple of them, it might be something else. Yeah. I don't know what that else is.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't
I think
remember what other names we brainstormed.
Yeah.
El Jardín. You could have put it in Spanish.
Yeah.
It's an idea that we're having moving forward as our songs, but we'll get to when we get there.
Yeah, when you get there, the next album. That's definitely the next album.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk a little bit more about each, like the album as a whole, and like what your favorite moments were. But first, let's take the next break of the interview because we have 2 more songs to get through. The next song we want to get into, let's go into Love in a Box. So let's take it away. again, I want to thank you for recording these songs for us. It came out really cool in an acoustic way. And whose living room was that?
Enriquez.
Enriquez.
Yeah,
Spacious.
we put a plant in the back because we wanted it to look a little
Yeah.
bit more lively.
If it was down out here in LA, it probably would have been a smaller space. I'm so jealous about other states, like probably cheap rent out there, and like out here for a space like that would be an arm and a leg.
I know. I used to live in LA. I used to live in Hermosa Beach, but
Okay.
I came back to El Paso. Oh, big difference. Big difference in what I was paying over there for housing.
I know it nearly doubles elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I want to know, after completing the album, I'm sure you guys still listen to it a lot. You're still like going through it back and forth. When you finished the album and you got to listen to that album completed, what was one of the songs that brought you like your favorite memory?
I already know mine.
Go for it, Eduardo.
I think Violet Sunrise, the way that that song describes kind of like love at first sight in a sense, and the illusions, like I'm a romantic, so there's times where like I kind of see someone that I find very attractive or pretty, and then I'm just already making the whole story in my head, and that's what the song is about. It's about well, not to snitch Josh out, but he had a crush on someone, and then that's what he says, stealing glances. It's kind of like there's some interest. He already made up the whole story, but it's about a love that has yet to happen. Probably won't, but how he describes of how great it would be. And I've felt that in a lot of instances. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I feel the song with those memories of when it's worked out,
Mm-hmm.
How about you,
And
Lexi?
for me, so I would say there's two songs that kind of made me feel good, inspired, and I think one of them is Queen of the Night, because when I listen back to it, the message is very valuable, the message that it gets across, because it's basically about how when you're in a good relationship with not necessarily a romantic relationship, but with family, right? It's not worth it to stay upset at someone, like and kind of put that relationship at risk. And so that's something that I can apply, like that I think about in my personal life. And then the other song that stood out to me was Mojito, because when I listened to it, when Manny and Josh were producing it, I remember there was a couple of things within the song that I was like, I don't know if I like this, I don't know if I like that. But then every time that I've heard it again and again, I feel like it just keeps growing on me. And I think part of it is because overall the whole song is just, I don't know if I can put it in a specific genre. I think it's very creative in how all the sounds come together. And so to me, that song was very eye-opening, and it made me respect Josh's songwriting and Manu's production even more. But yeah, those two
Really nice.
stand out to me.
And then also, I don't know if she left out a little. We just released a music video for Mojito, and Lexi practically directed the whole thing.
Yeah, she's everything. She does it makes up the melodies and everything, finishes
Yeah,
songs.
she brought the props. She did the Excel sheet. She gave direction to the actress. She was coaching everything after that. So
Yeah, that was a fun experience. Just the whole Mojito video. And it's crazy too, because we had such a short amount of time to film all of it. I think it was like 3 hours. In 3 hours,
Wow.
we filmed everything. And so it was like, we didn't really have time to, I guess we just had to work with what we had and make the best of it. And maybe it could have been, the video could have been even better if we had obviously a whole ton of time to really go through it. But for what we delivered, I think it was pretty good. We were very proud of it.
Very proud of it. Well, then I'll definitely put it in the end credits on YouTube. So after this interview,
Nice.
everybody watch it.
Yeah, awesome.
And also, I want to know what's like your favorite moment or your favorite part of creating this album. Was it a specific song that you came up with? Was it like during when you were in the studio trying to find out the production of it, or was it when you got to film the videos?
I gotta say, it's when you first listen to it on the streaming platform. So I use Spotify, and you know, I know that Spotify releases the day before at 10 o'clock. So that's when I'll go sit in my car and give the song a listen. And this is for all the songs. I'll listen to them how they were meant to be listened to on in your car with your headphones. And a memory in particular was Queen of the Night. I was going to a bar, and then on a Wednesday, and then the song just came out, and as I was driving, I was listening to it, and I just felt bummed out. The song just really hit me in my feels that I didn't want to go to the bar. I was like, I want to go home and be bummed out and depressed. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's a beautiful song and a sad song in its sense. So I just, when I listened to it, I was like, I want to go home and be sad.
Man.
Yeah.
Qué triste.
Yeah, I think for me and probably the rest of the band, another moment, well, two of the most memorable moments that we've had have probably been when we got the vinyls, the physical copy of
Oh, that's the best.
it. Yeah, I know. I've definitely heard Josh and Henry talk about this, and they say, because this is the first time that Soul Parade has had a physical vinyl, and so it's very different to feel your music physically, you know, and see it as a physical product. So that's something that kind of, for them and for me, was very rewarding to see after all the hard work. And then the other thing was the album release party that we had. This was first week of March, and we had a party at Love Bus, a local bar here in El Paso, and it was a ton of fun. It was a tight space, but we were on a stage, and it was great to see a lot of family and friends and fans of Soul Parade that have supported the band for a while all come together.
That's great.
To support the album release. So for sure, those two are big, memorable moments for us.
Yeah, and it's your debut album. Like, congratulations again. It takes a lot of
Thank
work,
you.
especially during like the tail end of a pandemic. Although it's weird to say tail end of a pandemic, even though we're still in it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that congratulations, and I'm sure it took a lot of effort, especially during these crazy times.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's get into the final song. It's one of my favorite songs just because it has a little bit more Latin flavor, a little more Espanol in it. Let's get into Niña Piña. right, we got Niña Piña. I love that one. It's a little bit it's got some more Latin flavor than the other ones, although they all have their own unique Latin flavor. But again, that one is Niña Piña. Can you share a little bit about the song and what was your take on it?
Sure.
I don't know much about this, but I wasn't so involved.
All right, I can talk a little bit about it. So Niña Piña was our first song in Spanish, which was very meaningful to us because we're here from the border, El Paso, Juarez, and so we want to represent, right? And we did a show in Mexico last year, and so we were happy that we could take at least one song that was in Spanish, and then the other thing too, it's actually one of my favorite songs in the album because it's more upbeat. It's more like it just makes you want to move a little bit more, and it has fun sounds, right? It sounds like it makes you think of the beach. It makes me think of the beach a lot. And if you listen to Niña Piña and the lyrics, the song is actually a little bit, the lyrics are kind of like all over the place, like to an extent they sound nonsensical, but we wanted it to represent kind of how like how Niña Piña is kind of so in love, so desperate in love that she's a little bit nonsensical, and we wanted it to represent how somebody, you know, in their first love can be somewhat nonsensical because all you're thinking about is this one love, and you can't stop thinking about them, and you've got this paradise and these good things happening in front of you, but you're so in love that you're not even noticing the small things. And so we kind of wanted to do a fun take on that theme.
Nice. Yeah, and adding a little bit of cumbia in there, a little bit of other Latin sounds and everything. Really, really good. Did a good job. And the album in totality. So again, we've been talking about almost half an hour. Time flies when you're really getting into some cool details about music and everything. What's in store for you guys? What do you guys have planned for the rest of the year or maybe next year? Are you currently writing new songs? Are you working on something, or are you still kind of, letting the album flourish before you start working on something else?
It's weird. I want to say we're going into the next generation of Soul Parade, into the new a new era, and so we're kind of writing a little bit on the album, but the new era we're thinking we're gonna do more songs in Spanish, like about 80%. I'm thinking we might have a one-off in English or 2-3, but I think majority we're thinking in Spanish. At the moment, when the songwriting occurs, then it's gonna change. So that's the way that I'm seeing it right now. The situation is very fluid, so nothing's tight, but it's just kind of what we're talking about in this 2 months of post-release of the album. Of hey, we did this. We're debating what's the next challenge.
And like you said, Byron, I think we're also giving or trying to give the album some time to flourish because it's still very recently in its release. And since we just released the video for Mojito as well, we have planned a couple more music videos that we want to have for this specific album to kind of keep that momentum up. But yeah, definitely already getting started on upcoming new songs. For sure.
That's exciting. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys tackle bilingual lyrics or just a bilingual new album. It really speaks a lot to our own identities, being Latinos and American at the same time, and being from two places at once, especially when you're from a border town where the language is, you're always going back and forth in Spanglish.
Spanglish, exactly.
I am.
Yeah, and I really cherish that when a group or an artist can switch between languages in one song too. Always do that too. I think.
All right, taking notes on that one.
Yeah, y'all should do that. Try to think about that when it comes organically, of course. I'm not gonna you can't force it. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for your time, and thank you for recording the songs again. I wish you a ton of luck. If you guys go on tour, make sure to come here in LA. We would love to have you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate the questions. It's always fun to talk about the album and everything that we've got going. So thank you.
Yeah, your hard work shows. So congratulations again.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys.
You too.
Ciao.
Bye.